Welcome, amazing friend. And in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to solve this radical equation. It's just very simple, okay? And at the end, we are going to check for our solution. It's going to be engaging. If you know what to do, let's know your method in the comments. But if you don't, let me show you what you will do. So we're going to begin with solution, okay? Now, this is called radical equation because of this radical sign. And you know that for you to solve radical equations, your target is to remove the radical sign. So, and because this is a square root, to remove it, you are going to square. And to square, you are going to square both sides so that the equation will be balanced. Now, to answer this, you are going to have 3 out of x minus 1 is equal to square root of x out of 2. Now, remember we said because this is square root, so to remove this square root, you are going to square. So you square this, okay, and you also square this so that you can remove the square root, this. I hope this is clear. Now, what do? This is giving us, remember when you have a over b to the power of n, it means a to the power of n, b to the power of n, according to your exponents. So in this case, 3 will be raised to power of 2 out of x minus 1 will be raised to the power of 2. Did you see that? And everything is equal to, for this, we are going to have square root of x will be raised to power of 2 and 2 will be raised to power of 2. So what do you do from that point? So this is giving us now 3 raised to power 2 is 3 times 3 to give us 9. So we have 9 out of, for this, what do you do here? We are going to use our binomial formula, okay? Our algebraic binomial formula, which says that when you have a minus b to the power of 2, it simply means a squared then minus 2ab plus b squared. I hope you are with me. Now, in this case now, this is going to be our a and this is our b. So let's apply this to expand this, okay? You can use any other method you are familiar with. So what to do here now, this is going to be x. So we're going to have x squared, then minus, for this, use 2 to multiply x and 1. So we're going to have 2 multiply x multiplies 1 will give us 2x. So we're going to have negative 2x. I hope you are seeing it. Then square your 1. So we have, according to this, so we have 1 squared is also 1. So we're going to have 1 here. I hope this is clear. And everything is equal to, here, this square will cancel the square root. So you'll be left with x all over. 2 raised to power 2 will give us 4. Did you see that? Now, what do? Let's block this. So in that case, from here, we're going to now have, this is giving us 9. So you observe something that at this point, you can now cross multiply, okay? Because of this equal sign. So that this number will multiply this and this will multiply this. Did you see that? So what do? This will multiply the whole of this. So we're going to have x into x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to, when 4 multiplies 9, it gives us 36. Interesting. So what do next? We are going to simplify again. Use this x to expand the bracket. And if you do that, x multiplies x squared gives us x cubed. Use x to multiply negative 2x. It gives you negative 2x squared. Interesting. Use x to multiply 1. It gives you x. Okay, and everything is equal to 36. Now, what do again? You observe that this is leading you to a cubic equation because it has power of x is 3. So what we are going to do here is we are going to make it look more beautiful. So we are going to remove this. Remember, it's positive. So to remove 36, you subtract 36 from both sides. I hope you are seeing it. So in that case, we are going to have x cubed minus 2x squared plus x, then minus 36 is equal to, if you subtract this, it gives you 0. Did you see what we've gotten now? So we're going to solve this cubic equation. There are a lot of methods you can use, but in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to use the long division method. It's going to be amazing. So what to do here is we are going to now get what numbers can divide this 36. Get the factors of 36, include the negative and positive, okay? So for this 36, we can have 1, positive and negative 1. We can have positive and negative 2, positive and negative 3. Then we can also have positive and negative 4 and the rest of them. Now let's do a trial to know which of them can we put in this equation to be equal to 0. So to do that, we are going to have when x is 1, if you put it here, it's going to give us 1 cubed minus 2 into 1 squared, then plus 1 minus 36. Let's see if it will be equal to 0. So in that case, we are going to have 1 cubed is 1 minus, if you multiply, this is 2 plus 1 minus 36. You observe that this is not equal to 0. And also when you check for negative 1, you still observe the same. So we are not using this, is not a solution. Now let's get to the second one. So we're going to also check for when x is 2. Put in x as 2 here. In that case, we are going to have, this is giving us 2 cubed minus 2 into 2 squared, okay, plus 2 minus 36. Now, when you simplify this, this gives us 8. This will give us 4 times this is 8 plus 2 minus 36 is not equal to 0. And if you try from when it is negative, you observe it will not still be equal. So you can do it, okay? Now, we can check for when x is 3. Now, if you put x as 3 here, we are going to have, when x is 3, we're having 3 cubed minus 2 into 3 squared plus 3 minus 36. And when you simplify this, it will not be equal to 0. You also try for the negative. So let's check for when x is 4. Okay, so let's check for when x is 4. Put it here, we're going to have this giving us 4 cubed, okay, minus 2 into 4 to the power of 2 plus 4 minus 36. Let's see if it will be equal to 0. Now do this with me, okay? 4 cubed, we're going to have, we are asking let x be this. So 4 cubed will give us 4 multiplied 3 times to give us 64. Then this is 2 squared is 4 multiplied 2 times to give us 16. And 16 times 2 will give us 32 plus 4 minus 36. And when you add this up, it's going to be equal to, add this, it will give you 68, and this will give us negative 68. So you see everything is equal to 0. So what this means is that x being 4 is a what? A solution to this cubic equation. So since we have seen that x being 4 is a solution, we are going to now use it. It means that to get it in factor, we are going to have x. So because it's positive here, subtract 4. So x minus 4 becomes a what? A factor. And it is this factor that we are going to use to divide using the long division method. And to do that, we are going to now have, using our long division method, we are going to draw the vertical line and the horizontal line, okay? Then this number is what you are going to put inside, because that's what you want to divide. So we're going to have x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 36. What we are going to work with is the left side, okay? Leave this, okay? Now, what do you place here? You observe that you have gotten one factor. So that's why we need to have this factor. So we are going to place this factor here, and that's what we use to divide. So we're going to have x minus 4. I hope you're with me. Now, what is the rule of this division? The rule is divide, multiply, and subtract, okay? DMS. I hope this is clear. That's the trick. So what you do here is to divide, use this first letter, the first variable or the first term, use it to divide the first value, okay? So let's do it together. Use x to divide x cubed. You know, when you divide x cubed by x, it gives you x multiplied 3 times. You see that you're going to have x squared. So this is going to give us x squared. Then multiply. When you are multiplying, this value you have here, use it to multiply the two terms. So x squared will multiply x to give us x cubed. X squared will multiply negative 4 to give us negative 4x squared. Did you see that? So what do you do again? We are going to now subtract, okay? So you subtract this. This minus this is gone. Then what you have here is negative 2 x squared minus, you see what we're doing, negative 4x squared. Did you see that? So if you simplify, you have this, and when you multiply negative and negative is positive. Did you see it? If you add this up, it gives you 2x squared. So we're going to have 2x squared here. Then what do you do now? You're going to bring down this value, bring it down. So we're going to have plus x. Then you also bring this again, you have negative 36. I hope you are seeing what we're doing. Repeat the cycle again, divide. Remember, when you are dividing, the first term divides the first term here. So use x to divide 2x squared. And when you do that, it's going to give us 2x. So we're going to have 2x. 2x multiplies x is 2x squared, and 2x multiplies negative 4 gives us negative 8x. Subtract. Okay, when you subtract this, it is 0. Then this is x. Remember, the coefficient is 1. So when you have 1x minus negative 8x, this will give you positive. Did you see what you have? And when you add this up, it gives you 9x. So here we're going to have 9x here. Now what do you do again? We bring down this negative 36. Did you see that? Repeat the cycle. This we divide this to give us 9. Now use 9 to multiply this, it gives us 9x. Use 9 to multiply this, it gives us negative 36. When you subtract, everything will be equal to 0. So you see why we say that this is a factor, because dividing the polynomial gives you a remainder of 0. Now, having understood this, what do you do now? You observe that the quotient you got is now quadratic. So we are going to solve this quadratic. In that case, you are going to now have x squared plus 2x plus 9 is equal to 0. Let's solve it. Okay, so we are going to use the formula method. And in the formula method, our x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Did you see that? Now, our a here is the coefficient of your x squared. Okay, coefficient of your x squared. So our a is going to be 1. Then your b is going to be the coefficient of s, which is positive 2. And our c is going to be the constant, which is 9. So we are going to now plug. Remember, this is 2a. Okay, and this is 9. So let's plug this value into this formula to get the values of x. So we have x is equal to, bring down your negative sign, your b is 2, so we have negative 2 plus or minus square root of, your b is still 2, so we have 2 squared minus 4. Our a is 1 and our c is 9. I hope you are with me there. Then all divided by 2 multiplied by our a is 1. So let's simplify. This is giving us x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus square root of 2 squared is 2 multiplied 2 times, which is 4. Then when you multiply this, it gives you negative 36 out of 2. So we simplify. So this gives us x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus square root of, subtract this, it gives us negative 32 all over 2. Now you observe that we have now found a negative sign inside the square root. So each time you have this, it means that your solution is leading to a complex solution, meaning it cannot be found on a number line. No square root has a negative can be found on a number line. So let's solve this using the knowledge of the complex. This implies that x is equal to negative 2. Now when you have this, it is the same as negative 1 is multiplying 32. I hope you know. Then all are divided by 2. Remember that when you have root ab, it is the same as root a multiplied by root b. Okay, so we're going to now have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus, split this, you have square root of negative 1 multiplied by this all over 2. You see what we're doing? So we're having x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus. Now, when you have this, remember that it is represented that your imaginary unit I is given as square root of negative 1. Okay, so whenever you have this, replace with I. So in that case, we are going to now have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus. This will become I. Okay, then 32 has a perfect square in it. It's not the lowest form of this surd. So to bring out the perfect square in this is 16. Okay, then when you multiply 16 by 2, it gives you 32. Did you see that? So this is giving us all over 2. So what do you do at this point? You will now observe that since 16 is a perfect square, its square root will give us 4. So we are going to bring it out from the root. And in that case, we are going to have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus I. So we're having 4. This will remain in the root because it's not perfect. So we have this all divided by 2. Now let's simplify again. We're going to have x is equal to, this is negative 2 over 2 plus or minus I 4 root 2 all over 2. Okay, so to this we divide. So we are going to have x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus, this will cancel this to give us 2. So we are going to have 2I root 2. Did you see it? So in that case, we are going to now have x. So we have x is equal to negative 1 plus 2I root 2. This another solution for x. Then we also have x is equal to negative 1 minus 2I root 2. This is another solution. Now remember the first solution we got as x is equal to 4. So you observe that we found 3 solutions for the equation because it's a cubic. So let's check for this solution to know if it will be equal in the equation. We are going to check for only the real. Remember, this is the real and these two are complex. Okay, so let's check for when x is only 4. So when x is 4, let's put it here. So we're going to have 3 out of 4. X has taken 4 minus 1. Let's see if it will be equal to square root of x is 4 out of 2. So let's simplify. So this is giving us 3 out of 4 minus 1 will give us 3. Is it equal to square root of 4 is which number will you multiply 2 times to give you 4? The same number. You have 2 out of 2. Did you see that? And when you divide this, it gives you 1. And 1, if you divide this, is also 1. So 1 is equal to 1. So what it means is that x being 4 is true for this solution. And that is the only one we can check. And I hope you learned a lot. Let's know how much in the comment. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Share this video with others to learn the tips we discussed in this tutorial and follow for more. See you in our next class. Bye bye.